Heyo, and welcome to the Young Thug coverage. I hope that the redirect worked over at from my previous stream from Jody Day. I'm also streaming this at Rumble and on Twitter. And the Rumble stream is pinned on the top of my YouTube chat if you prefer that platform. And if you are on Twitter, hold on. Jingles, I'm trying to type here. Don't chase my hands. Why are you chasing my hands? There you see it down there. Twitter/X at Starow Niklas. Okay. And for you, say hello to the audience, Mr. Jingles. Show them how happy you are when I pick you up like this. Yeah? Look at this very, very happy kitten. And for you who don't know, this is Jarl Jingles, our gang leader of the Mr. Jingles Viking Thugs. Oh. Okay, and redirect worked. Yay! Good to know. And Vicky is here from other stream as well. I am Shout, Helen, Maritza, and Ashton, and Cool Gamer, and Amateur, and Gigi, and Miss Jax. And remember, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you think you are subscribed, check again. Sometimes YouTube does that thing where they no, let's unsubscribe. So just check. Today we are finishing off day 18. It's not long. And then we will move on to day 19. I know over at Law and Seaward that they are claiming it is day 20. I don't count the day where they only went in to say that Shannon Stillwell was stabbed and we have to take a break. Oh, thank you. Posted the shorter Rumble link. Yeah. Replaced pin message. There. Yeah, thank you, Ghostry. So we are moving into the redirect of the state's witness, Mr. Stevens. And then we will listen to a bit, because all of a sudden it became an evidentiary hearing, since the prosecution claimed that the defense opened the door. And then we will move over to day 19. So, again, sound is what sound is. And I will try to not pop your ears. But here we go.
That song talks about the defendant being truly humble under God.
What?
Talks about her.
My name is Doug Wine. Correct?
Is Duke a crip?
Yes.
Is Duke YSL?
Yes.
Is he a member of Young Slime Life, the gang?
Yes.
And what about Gunna? Is he a member of Young Slime Life?
Yes.
All right. Is Gunna's real name Sergio Kitchens?
Yes.
Is Duke's real name Martinez Arnold?
Yes.
You talked about with, I believe, Mr. Steele, the acronym THUG, meaning, according to Mr. Steele, truly humble under God. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Would you tell the jury, you were also asked by Mr. Steele about songs that the defendant Williams has written or rapped. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Right. How many of the defendant Williams songs talk about slime?
A number of them.
Okay. How many talk about evidence?
Who?
Yeah. pens, guns?
A lot of them. Man, from
How many?
they talk about, yeah.
Okay. How many talk about carbines?
Who?
Carbines.
I don't even know what that is.
How many talk about drugs?
A lot of them.
How many?
They do.
Okay, did you say a lot of them? Is that what I heard you say?
Songs, just songs that mention drugs.
And how many talk about perks?
It's songs that mention drugs.
Name one that talks about perks. Pushing P?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
I mean, you want me to replay the song in my head, or you gonna play it for me?
It was played for you.
I done been in here for weeks. Like, a lot of stuff ain't just coming back to me like fast as you want it to.
Okay, fair. And you don't recall whether Pushing P talks about pushing perks.
If you play the song, I can let you know if it's saying something about a perk.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, you said a lot of them talk about guns, and a lot of them talk about slime, and a lot of them talk about drugs. Did I get that right? How we?
A stain is the form.
I'll rephrase. Did I hear you testify that a lot of them a lot of the...
Yeah, thank you. I am Shout. Law and C would reset the stream today. And I'm just watching over Law and Seawood. So they reset it. They call it part 2. And part 1 is not there. Let's continue listening and watching this while I go search for another so we can actually see the testimony from this morning.
Songs talk about drugs, and a lot talk about guns, and a lot talk
I
about...
said a number of them.
Okay. How many talk about the defendant Williams being truly humble under God?
A number of them.
Which one?
You gotta
Name one.
you gotta pay attention.
Just name one.
You like giving me like rapidly trying to think, but if you give me some time, I can think of one.
How much time do you need?
You gonna let me go replay some music?
Found one. Thank you to Atlanta 5 News for actually streaming the trial as well. And so I can, so we will be watching today as well. Thanks to Atlanta 5, who is also. So let's get this up so you can watch jingles instead of the Law and Seaward logo. All right, let's go.
I'm gonna let you just sit there and think. How much time?
I ain't gonna call because you like doing how you doing it.
Is the answer zero?
No.
A stain is the form.
Let me ask a better question. Can you think of a single song right here as you see it right now that talks about the defendant Williams being truly humble under God?
I'll rule the objection.
A number of songs on the last album, Pump. One I ain't with the song name. I was Dropping Jewels. He talked about God a lot in that one.
Okay. Please tell the jury what part of that song talks about the defendant being truly humble under God.
So in the
Yeah, this is just the prosecutor being an ass again. She's very, very adamant in going into the acronym not being a genuine one. But over at Twitter, I've seen, I got contacted by a person who said he said this in an interview years ago, before this RICO-Trial started, and hopefully, or if it was in my comment section, something of the sort. So hopefully I can actually find that interview in some shape or form where he actually says it.
beginning, he said, dang, show me why I'm living, why am I remaining here? I know you weren't talking about nobody but God.
Oh, wait, did he say the word God?
You right?
I didn't say anything. I asked a question.
I knew what he was referring to
No,
because can't nobody else show you why you living.
My question,
No.
what are you answering me?
Did he say God? But I knew that he was referring to God.
So, can you think of a single song where Defendant Williams raps that he is truly humble under God?
Not under these circumstances.
So you cannot right now?
No.
Okay. You were also asked on cross-examination quite a bit about this plea agreement that you signed back in 2022. Do you recall being asked those questions by Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Do you recall being asked questions about it by Mr. Shaw?
She's very onto it. That's a nice picture. She's very adamant because a lot of this case is about colors, gang signs, and the fact that he calls himself a thug. And when he said, well, thug is an acronym, stands for truly humble under God, she has to impeach that. But if the defense has access to that interview in later on, they will show it.
Yes.
And do you recall being asked questions about it from other lawyers as well?
Yes.
Some of the defendants?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. How many times did Mr. Steele visit you at the jail while you were arrested?
No.
None?
For the RICO indictment?
In 2022, while you were incarcerated for the charges on indictment 22 SC 183572, how many times did he visit you at the jail?
Are you saying for the 9 months that I was locked up for this RICO? How many times he visited me? None.
You know, how many times did Mr. Steele visit you in jail, period?
Once.
When was that?
I was arrested for parole violation.
And so when was that? What year?
I want to say 2022 or 21, one of them.
2021?
I don't recall the exact year. I don't
It's
recall.
okay, but it's been in the last 2 or 3 years, is that it?
Yes.
All right. And did you have a job back then?
No.
So when Mr. Steele visited you, was it at your request or did he come down on his own?
It wasn't. Yeah. It was at my request.
Okay. And so what did you reach out to? Reach out and ask for a lawyer?
Yes.
And did you ask Mr. Steele to represent you?
Yes.
And you did not have a job?
No.
How were you intending that Mr. Steele, who is now Ryan Jeffrey Williams' lawyer, how did you intend that he be paid?
I knew that probation revocations didn't amount to no more than $1,000, and I knew I had family that would help me out to get a probation revocation lawyer.
Okay. You were also asked some questions about, and so it's your intention that it was just a small amount, so family would have been able to afford it?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Steele end up representing you?
No.
And that was in 21 or 22?
I don't know what call it is that year.
Was it before or after you were held on charges that are in this indictment?
It was, this happened after, the indictment happened after.
You were also asked about whether certain words on State Exhibit 16 uniform were your words. Do you remember being asked about that?
Yes.
Now, is it a fair statement you did not write this document?
I ain't writing none of it.
Is it a fair statement that you would not have ever even endeavored to write it?
What's the basis, sir? I'm sorry.
Leading wrong.
I stand the objection as a form. You can rephrase it.
Would you have ever even wanted to write this document?
No.
Also speculation.
I stand the objection.
Did you even want to write this document? Okay. But were you given an opportunity by the state and your attorney, through your attorney, to change any part of this document that you found to be false?
Not giving an opportunity.
Here's the thing. In that agreement, there are certain things he can't say, as in saying anything that might exonerate the defendant. So he's very restricted in how he testifies, because he's also, if he says something bad towards the agreement, they can revoke it. And all of a sudden, he is a co-defendant again. And since he already confessed to most of it, he's looking at years in prison. So in my opinion, that plea deal and remember, he spent 7 months in jail because the prosecution argued he was a flight risk and should stay in jail. And that they did to all the people indicted. So most of the people who were of the 28, everybody was a flight risk and the court went with it. So everybody was in jail for months and months and months. And Mr. Stevens, at the time, was living, as far as we know, a law-abiding life. He left the life of crime after his last prison sentence. He had a job, providing for family, and all of a sudden, he's in jail. And after 7 months in jail, he got the piece of paper in front of him saying, confess to this and you are let go and you can go back to your family. And for me, that's the tactics behind this entire indictment. Get people in jail, have them there for a long time, put a piece of paper in front of them and say, you can go home today if you sign this. To get confessions and something to, yeah. And for me, this is appalling.
Keep telling you, once I seen this exact paper, it was time to sign it. Like, we got this.
I'll rephrase the question.
You're up. One at a time. So, Mr. Sharp, I'm sorry.
Rather than ask that District Attorney allow Mr. Stevens to finish his statement.
He's not being responsive, so I'm going to overrule your objection, sir. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
That wasn't, and also, Judge, you are there to, as you're the judge. You can't claim unresponsive unless the prosecution argues it, in my opinion. Please, Judge, why? I feel like it's two prosecution's teams against a defense. It's not good, in my opinion.
Slug.
Do you remember when you testified on direct examination, I asked you to say that you signed this document? Was that the first time that you saw, and we read out a number of factual acknowledgments? Do you remember that?
One more time.
Do you remember on direct examination, like you remembered on cross when you were saying, she asked me that already? Do you remember my asking you whether the day you signed this document was the first time you saw factual acknowledgement number one?
Yeah, I remember you asked me that.
Okay, do you remember saying no, it was not the first day that you had seen?
No, when I signed it, wasn't the first day I seen it. I said I had a number of days to sign it.
Okay, thank you. So in that time that you had a number of days to sign
I
this
could have changed
document,
something.
were you aware then that you could have changed something?
Yes.
And did you speak with your attorney about your knowledge that you could have changed something?
No.
You didn't talk to her about knowing you could change something if you want to?
Talking about something that was already wrote on the paper, you can finish one.
I wish I knew. I really wish I knew.
Did you tell the state or your attorney, no, something on there is wrong?
No.
One of those is inaccurate.
No.
Yeah, and he now has another lawyer than the one who he signed the agreement with, I believe.
But you knew you could if you wanted to. Is that fair?
I stand in objection. Mr. Stevens, again, pull your chair close to the microphone so we can hear you. Please, sir.
But were you aware that you could if you wanted to?
Change. Yes. What?
Now,
And in my opinion, she's actively
you were asked by Mr.
confusing.
Steele about being kicked off of a tour. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you were asked whether that was the reason you weren't at Jeffrey Williams' concert when he was in Holly Grove, Louisiana. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And is it your testimony today, not last week or week before, that that was the reason you weren't at his concert?
I ain't able to give man one of y'all the reasons.
Okay.
Well, I probably told you that. What I say? It didn't make sense to. You trying to ask me something about I already answered this stuff, man. I answered it. I have one answer to do.
Does the truth remain the truth from week to week?
Yeah.
I stand in objection.
So, was being kicked off of the tour any reason why you didn't go to Holly Grove?
It could have been.
Was Dolly defendant Williams' sister kicked off of the tour? That same tour that you talked about being kicked off of?
I don't know.
Was DK, Walter Murphy, kicked off that tour?
I know I went home.
Was Dora kicked off that tour? Dora Green.
I don't remember who all went home. I know I went home.
Do you remember whether any of the people who were with you at the compound that night were kicked off the tour?
I know I went home.
Now, Mr. Matthews just asked you about factual acknowledgement number 14. Defendant cannot truthfully assert that anyone charged in this indictment is not guilty of the crimes alleged in this indictment. Is that one of the facts?
That is not verbatim what actually was in the plea agreement. They read verbatim what it said. I wonder if that will come out again.
Acknowledgements inside
I got it.
initial. I just want to make sure
Oh.
we're looking at the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
He paid the guy.
SB,
He paid the guy 50,000. Then that lawyer couldn't fulfill. So he gave back 25 grand for which they hired the new lawyer. If I remember correctly. Chat, you can correct me if I remember wrong. You always do.
defendant that you call SB, Shannon Stillwell, was he 30 deep?
He hung in McCannerville, but he from Thomasville. You gotta be from these places to be saying it.
Okay. What about Little Ruby? Was he 30 deep?
Yes.
Didn't hear that. What about Little Ruby? Was he 30 deep?
Yes.
And did he have to leave 30 deep? Or was he able to be YSL and 30?
I don't know.
When you and the defendant Williams and DK or Walter Murphy, when you all formed Young Limelight, what were the membership requirements?
None.
None. How did you all decide who would or could be a member of Young Limelight?
Nobody never did.
And when you say that people are members versus associates, is it still the case that you recognize a difference? That there's a difference between a member of Young Limelight versus an associate?
Yeah.
You talked on cross-examination about living at an associate living at the apartment where you were arrested and were charged with aggravated assault when you flashed your gun at what you later learned was a law enforcement officer. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was that your car that the law enforcement officer?
We are finishing off the previous day, and then we will move into today.
Was looking at that was 25 yards away?
I've never seen anyone looking at a car.
Did your associate come inside? What apartment did your associate live at? What apartment number?
I don't know the apartment number.
Was your associate arrested?
No, I was the only person arrested.
Do you remember speaking with your associate?
Here's the thing. The DA is using the word associate in a completely different way than Mr. Stevens does. Mr. Stevens believes, and this he explained, that... let's see here. Let's get the banner up. Quantavious Stevens. When he tried to explain his thoughts about what associate means, he said, is it like going out clubbing and stuff? That is what he thinks when he hears the word associate. As in friends, people he grew up with, who he associated with. The DA, when she's using the word associate, is as in member of a gang committing crimes together. And I think that the defense during cross was very good at distinguish that the prosecutor and Mr. Stevens are using the word associate in completely different ways.
Out, somebody looking at the car.
No.
Mr. Sharp asked you about Biggs selling drugs on Cleveland Avenue. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is Biggs' name Darius Ford?
Yes.
And is he the young man whose life was taken along with Christian Miller?
Yes.
When I asked you on direct about the web, I asked you the address. Is the address of the web 2539 Browns Mill Road?
Yes.
How often did you visit the web? In 2021 and 2020?
Often.
Would you describe what was inside the web for the jury?
TVs, computers, speakers, sofas, beds,
Was the web an apartment, a house, a standalone building, or something else?
a house.
Did you live at the web?
I've spent the night there.
How often did you spend the night at the web?
I can't have company where I stay at, so whenever I have a friend or something, I go to the web.
And the where you stayed testified earlier that it is with a family member.
Yes.
And is that the family member that you've been living with your entire life?
Yes.
Did you have to pay that family member to live there?
No, just clean up.
That's reasonable, though. Will you agree?
That's a payment.
All right. Who lived at the web?
Whoever ain't have nowhere to go.
Whose place? Who owned the web?
I don't know the owner.
Did you own the web?
No.
When you wanted to go to the web, how were you able to get inside? Was the door always unlocked?
No.
How'd you get inside?
Knock on the door?
Was there someone always there?
Yes.
So generally, who remained at the web at all times?
There was a guy who used to always clean up the house, clean up the yards. He older, he a homeless guy.
So did you have to pay anyone to stay at the web when you did stay at the web?
We was going in on the rent.
Okay. And so who were you giving rent to?
To my like, who? The house person? I don't understand.
If you were going in on rent, who were you giving the rent to?
The lady who got the house for us.
What's her name?
And I don't know.
You just gave her your name?
Yeah.
In February of 2021, February 5th, 2021, around that time, would you have occasionally stayed at the web?
2005?
No, 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could have been there.
After defense has an opportunity to look at them, I'm going to show you what I had marked. And Your Honor, just for the record, I will call them out in turn. As State's Exhibit 21 uniform, 22 uniform, 24 uniform, 25 uniform, 25 uniform, Bravo, 31 uniform, 32 uniform, 33 uniform, 34 uniform, 35 uniform. And those.
Yeah. Now, this was yesterday. The rest of the day is a hearing about these specific pieces of evidence, because these are Instagram messages where the prosecution alleges they are planning or talking about something of the sort of what they are indicting, as in they are co-conspirators, they are talking about paying rent, and that proves that they are in cahoots with each other. Now, the defense violently objected because, as Mr. Nikos never mentioned in these messages, so he alone objected and asked for the judge to give a jury instruction, and then it went into battle mode from the defense and the prosecution to find statutes in Georgia and on federal level that either allowed the prosecution or disallowed the prosecution to use these Instagram messages, because they are so vague. They're talking about paying rent on this place and who is paying what rent. And at one point, Mr. Stevens says something about 10 pieces and stuff like that. Extremely vague language. But in the end, they are allowed in over the objections, and the judge, as per usual, will wait until the end of the state's case in chief to determine if Mr. Nix can, if he should mention a jury instruction that Mr. Nix is not involved in those messages. Here's the thing, that can be months away. So this is again the judge pushing things in front of him. But it also shows that the Georgia RICO and the Act and the statutes they use and the cases they use are solely there to prosecute and convict on the vaguest grounds possible. And for me, it's highly unconstitutional, but I'm not a Georgia judge. So that brings us to today. And thank you to Fox 5 Atlanta for actually not removing this morning's stream. So let's see. I hope the sound is, if the sound is better on Fox 5 Atlanta, I will be using that one. But yeah, now, so we're getting up to speed. We are getting up to speed.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, good morning. Good morning. All right, without further delay, we're going to continue. Mr. Stevens, showing the oath. You may continue, Ms. Love.
Thank you, Ron. Good morning, Mr. Stevens.
Come on.
Mr. Stevens, we talked yesterday, you did, on direct cross-examination about your sentence and the agreement that you made with the state. Tell the jury, if you would, what your sentence was at the time that you signed the plea agreement labeled State Exhibit Uniform. Do you remember what your sentence was?
Yeah. I think 10.
Do you need to see the plea agreement to remind you?
Was it 10 years? 10 years.
I'm going to show you a copy of State Exhibit 16 uniform. And if
this is she did this during direct examination too, that she showed more as a reminder, do what I say, or this is the number of years in prison you will actually get since you confessed.
You would look at negotiated sentence
Mhm.
and just let me know without reading anything out loud. Read it to yourself and let me know if that reminds you.
Yes.
Okay? Is your memory refreshed as to what
I need
your
to get
sentence-
more coffee,
Yes.
but I will be
And
listening
what
in.
sentence did you receive at the time that you signed Stacy Exhibit 16 uniform?
10 years, served 2, commuted to probation.
And when you say commuted to probation, do you mean the remaining 8 years?
Yes.
Now, is that the first time that you had to serve time on probation?
No,
So how much time do you have left on probation?
I'm on parole right now. In 2025, I get off parole.
All right, and after that, how much time do you have on probation?
The 8 years.
I'm going to show you what has been shown to counsel for the defense and marked as State's Exhibit 27 uniform and State's Exhibit 27 uniform Bravo. And I'll ask you if you recognize the person depicted in State's Exhibit 27 uniform and 27 uniform Bravo.
Yes.
Are these accurate depictions of the person depicted in 27 uniform?
Yes.
And is 27 uniform Bravo and a screenshot of a post on your social media account?
Yes.
Are both of these accurate depictions of the subjects that are captured in these photographs?
Yes.
State tender State's Exhibit 27 uniform and State's Exhibit 27 uniform Bravo.
Any objection to states 27 uniform or 27 uniform Bravo?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the basis?
Relevance?
Can I see them, please? Is
Yes, Your Honor.
that your only ground, sir?
I vote with concern.
Yeah, come on up, sir. Proceed.
Yeah, even though the judge in general allowed these evidence to come in, still needs to show relevance, each and every one. So that is what the defense is going for now. She still needs to lay foundation, show relevance and everything. And hello over at Rumble. Remember, thumbs up and everything. Much appreciated. And for you who says, hey, I want to sponsor this guy, you can do that via Super Chat, membership, or if you don't want to give YouTube's money, I have a PayPal. And that is shown in the chat on occasions through my moderators. Thank you. Oh, what's that? Is it... Oh, sidebar. Sidebar counter number 59! Let's skip ahead. They are still up there. Here they are back.
And permission to publish.
Yeah, you may publish as you see fit.
Yes. We are not pillaging, we are not doing that. We are just there to say hi. Can we park here? What? That's an interesting piece of well, if they are associate with the Blood Gang, why is he posting a white bluish car?
Exhibit 27. Who it is that we're looking at in State's Exhibit 27 uniform.
Me.
And what is it that you are sitting in front of?
A car, a truck.
And was State's Exhibit 27 uniform taken within the last 5 years?
Yes.
And going now to 27 uniform Bravo, is that a post that you made on one of your social media accounts?
Yes.
All right. And what is your handle on this posting?
_1slug.
All right, would you speak up just a little bit?
_1slug.
All right. And what are you wearing in State's Exhibit 27 uniform Bravo?
Green.
All right. Describe the outfit itself.
I'm wearing a hoodie. Some shorts.
What is the brand of the clothing?
Vertebrate.
All right.
Vertebrate.
And who bought that for you?
I know the person who owned the clothes, man, it was free.
All right. What are you wearing around your neck?
Necklace.
What kind?
A cross and a pendant.
All right. Are they bronze, pearl?
Say rose. I think rose gold.
All right. So they're rose gold. Are there any jewels on the pendants attached to the necklace?
Yes.
What jewels?
Diamonds.
All right. And what symbols or emblems is that a cross I see?
Yes.
And what is the other one?
It says slug.
Says what?
Slug.
All right. Now, read the post at the bottom, please, starting with _slug.
_1slug. Bust down roller came from Thug. You know it's real love. Or whatever little baby said.
All right. And Thug, that's defendant Jeffrey Williams.
Yes.
All right. And so what are you wearing on your left wrist?
A watch.
What kind of watch?
A Rolex watch.
Do you know how much that watch was worth?
I would assume that these things, the car is actually Mr. Williams, and Slug is just posing in front of it. If it was actually his car, he would be posing in it. But I haven't seen any other photos, so I don't know. And Mr. Williams at this time was making a very large amount of money. And my knowledge about US rappers are limited, but I do know that if you have an entourage, you give them stuff. Doesn't mean this prosecutor is more or less telling the world if more or less every rapper out there is actually a gang member and everybody should be in prison.
Yeah, I know how much it's worth.
How much?
About 4 or 5 grand.
Yeah. Koenigsegg is way better.
Thank you. I'm going to now show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 14 uniform. And it is a video. And I'll ask you, as we provided it as well to counsel for the defense, and they were here for it as well.
I'd like to confess the name.
Speaking of Koenigsegg, most of you know I'm a part of a cigar club, and one member in that cigar club actually works at Koenigsegg. So a bunch of years ago, we went there. So yeah, I've been in the Koenigsegg factory. This is at the time where I only had the beard and not the hair. You might see me there, second to left, posing in front of a Koenigsegg.
I sent a copy to it. It's in your email.
Yeah, Coach Sean.
So I'm going to. Oh, here, let's go. Let's wait and see. Okay. Okay. Do you recognize the people who are captured in this video?
Yes.
And are you one of the people who are present in the video?
Yes.
All right. And I'm gonna scroll all the way to the end. And do you see yourself in the video?
Yes.
Is this a video of,
I'll sustain the question.
do you recognize what this video footage is of?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the images that are displayed within?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state tender states Exhibit 14 uniform as evidence.
Any objection to state's 14 uniform?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I forgot. I got a US-based PO box. And it should be in the description below this stream if you want to send Mr. Jingles something. I don't need anything in stuff-wise because drunk me buys sober me stuff. So, but if you want to send Mr. Jingles something, go right ahead. I will collect it there and ship it over. Because shipping from US to Sweden is expensive as F. But if I get it through this PO box, they handle everything. Yeah, I have to pay for it, but it's much better than actually posting my address out there.
Just
provided a moment ago at 9:01.
how long is the video?
Your Honor, the video, and if the court will permit, I would bring the computer up to show what the court what it is.
How long is it?
It is a 28-minute video of the defendant's,
Not served in discovery, and I'd like to review it. I've never seen it.
every person in here was present when it was filmed, so I'm
When it
like,
was what, I'm sorry?
filmed.
It's not true.
And Your Honor, I would just like to show the court what it is, rather than.
Okay.
I'd like to look at it.
You can, but I'm gonna look at it and see what other action I need to take. If anyone wants to come up, that's fine. Hold on.
Oh. Sidebar counter 60! Short one at least.
So Your Honor, the state tenders states 14 uniforms evidence.
Okay. If it is a song, I have to mute them. I don't want to pick it up.
Yes, I have not seen it. I'd like time to see it. It's not the official record. I don't know where it came from. To my knowledge, no one was here when that happened. 0 people. What Ms. Love said, I remember.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, 20 minutes and 44 seconds, and Your Honor, I can, if the court would like, I can state for the record what it is, since I'm asking that it be.
I would object.
Not in front of the jury.
I'll take one representative. One representative, please.
This is the prosecution again. She knows, I suspect, that she might not be able to get it in. So she is desperately trying to explain in front of the jury what this evidence contains. But luckily, Judge isn't having any of it. Sidebar counter 61. Okay.
and let you retire to your headquarters. I'm going to have times or unforeseen. I'm going to have to take just a brief recess and
Yeah, this means even though Miss Love, Prosecutor Love, Assistant District Attorney Love said the defense knows about this, now the judge knows this is completely new. Completely. And the look on her face tells it. She's trying to do a surprise evidence.
let you retire to your headquarters. So I'm thinking we'll recess until 11 o'clock and then we'll bring you back in and we'll continue, okay? Thank you for your patience in advance, all right? Remember my admonitions to you. All rise.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? She's not getting yelled at by the judge in front of the jury for being unprofessional. But the defense several times during this trial in front of the jury is getting yelled at. Is he going to sanction her this? No. I haven't seen it. I don't know it. But everything pre-trial, trial, no. He is not going to do anything about it. Again, I assume. And break. Oh, here they are back.
I think you should see it. That's fair. I got it all. I got my kind of extra copies. So you just one thing I need your help with is I got a job. I did it 29.
Yeah, I suspect we will be caught up shortly.
I got you.
And hot mic.
All right, jurors.
Yeah, there's a lot of complications with hot mics in this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Okay. Well, talkie. You know.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, we're going to pause with a testimony of Mr. Stevens, and then we're going to take another witness, and then we'll resume him. This is proper within the court and the party's discretion, just to give the next witness.
Okay, this is probably what happened. Miss Love couldn't get this video in through this witness. Or something of the sort. I'm not sure. I don't know who the next witness is. But we will find out.
Who has a time deadline on a personal matter, okay? All right, so who's the state's next witness?
Your Honor, the state calls Miss Helena Dixon.
I summon
Miss Helena Dixon.
Dixon, please.
Act 61.
Miss Dixon, good morning, madam. Come on up. Once you get to the witness stand, before you sit down, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram, you're sworn as a witness.
Raise your right hand. This is my first testimony to give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's it.
Helena?
Miss Dixon, speak directly in the microphone so we can all hear you, okay? Put your chair up as close as you can to the mic.
Okay.
And speak into it so we can all hear you, okay?
Sure.
All right, wonderful.
Helena Dixon.
Good morning, Miss Dixon.
Good morning.
And let me know, or if you're able to try your best to speak in that microphone.
Okay.
So back in May of 2016, where did you live?
I lived at 245 Mall Drive.
She's having a rough voice. No, they are taking vodka blood. They are taking a pause in Slug's testimony to have this witness on because she is having a time issue, and that happens sometimes. That they break things off just to get one witness in. I assume that prosecution thought they would be done with Mr. Stevens, but yeah. Well, I don't know that, but I don't even know if they are going to show her face. I don't know.
Was that 245 Mall Drive?
Yes,
And what city is that in?
Atlanta,
And what is it? A house, a townhouse, an apartment?
condos.
And when did you first move to 245 Mall Drive?
That was in February of 2015.
And who lived there with you?
My son,
And back in 2016, how old was your son?
he was about 8 or 9.
And did you ever get to know any neighbors in that location?
Only a few of them.
Did you
Just
ever
by seeing them.
just seeing them out and about?
Yes,
Did you ever know someone named Miss Terravia Hill?
I did.
And how did you meet her?
We passed in the neighborhood, and I was able to see her, and we would speak all the time.
And was her condo close to yours or far away?
It was about 3 doors down from me.
Now, turn your attention to May 11th of 2016.
Okay.
Can you describe, back in May 11, 2016, how did your day start that day?
It was a normal day. I took my son to school and went about my business, but I had to pick my son up.
It seems like she's just a neighbor talking about what she saw with her neighbors, I would think.
Normally, every day, about 2:30, we would be there get back home about 3, a little after 3.
Now, at the time, where was your son going to school?
He was over in Decatur at the Barack Obama Elementary School.
And how would he typically get to school?
I had to take him every day.
And that day, did you take him to school?
I did.
And after you dropped him off, what did you do next?
I ran a couple of errands and then I went to work.
And did you ever come and pick him up after work from school?
Yes, I had to pick him up.
What time would you typically have to come pick him up?
We had to pick up our kids around 2:30, and it typically take me about maybe 15 or 25 minutes to get back home.
And on May 11, 2016, you go to school and pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all head straight home or did you stop anywhere on the way back?
So we had straight home.
Now, when you got home, do you recall around what time it was that you got back to your condo?
When I pulled my bag in it had to be a little after 3, no later than 3:15.
And would it have been daylight?
Yes.
Now, at 245 Mall Drive, how was the parking lot set up? Like, did you have assigned parking spaces? Could you park anywhere?
No, we had a side parking.
And do you remember where you would park your car?
And yes, I had a side parking 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
And how far was your front door from where you parked your car?
Just a short distance, because when you get out, you just walk down a small sidewalk.
I'm going to show you, Ms. Dixon, State's Exhibits 5 Victor through 10 Victor. And if any defense counsel, I'm happy to share. Here's a cheat sheet. This is coming later while you're up here. This is complex. It's the one that somewhat similar. I don't think the specific location is missing. And then 29 is a picture of missing.
Oh, there she is. And prosecution is having a hot mic again.
That's right here.
Because she had pain yesterday, and so couldn't get her face to her name.
Just come put in the picture.
But I understand if y'all check. I just want to show y'all hands on. Yeah, say listen.
I blame the
When she's recovered.
And he's not getting
the sound technician. He or she should know better than to have sound on when they are doing this. This will not what they are talking about there is not part of the record. It's not. So that shouldn't be broadcasted at all.
Your Honor, permission to approach?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, ma'am, I handed you State's Exhibits 5 Victor through 10 Victor. Can you take a couple minutes and just look through those? And when you're done, just look up at me, ma'am.
Okay.
What are those?
This is the unit, this is the complex where we were living at that time.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of where you were residing back on May 11th, 2016?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state needs to introduce State's Exhibits 5 Victor through 10 Victor into evidence.
Any objection to States 5 Victor through 10 Victor?
No, see, no objection.
All right, States 5 Victor through 10 Victor are admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Publishing State's Exhibit 5 Victor. So, ma'am, as you were describing, do you see where you would park your vehicle depicted in 5 Victor?
Yes.
And where would that be?
And 5 and 7. Wait, you talking about the numbers?
Correct. And I have published State's Exhibit 5 Victor in relation to that black Chevy and that kind of gold car. Where would your parking spot have been that day?
Next to the gold car.
Would it have been to the left or right?
It would have been to the left of that car.
Okay. In spot 9?
Yes.
And did you typically, at this day, did you pull in or did you back
I backed in.
in? Would you typically back your car in?
Yes.
And in the car, where would your son have been seated? Would he have been in the passenger, the back seat?
It would have been in the passenger, the back seat that particular day.
And you picked him up, you came back here and backed in. What happened next?
Well, while I had my bag in, my son was getting out. I noticed that the CEO had pulled into the parking spot. She normally parks in. She pulled in, but I noticed another car just drive pretty fast into behind that car. But I hadn't really got out, but my door was open to get out. I was reaching for my purse. And I happened to just hear a person say, just get out and say, give me your purse and give me your keys. And it happened so fast, but I was able to hear that person say what they said.
And Ms. Dixon, I'm publishing State's Exhibit 7D.
Yes.
Where would your spot is your spot where that black Chevy is?
Yes.
Where would Ms. Hill's parking? And so you said you pulled in, and did you see, was Ms. Hill there when you first pulled up, or did she come in after?
She came in a little bit after me because she had fully got out of her car. Her and her daughter was headed towards her door.
And did these the individuals who approached Ms. Hill, they come out of the car, or were they on foot?
No, they came out of the car.
And where did that car come from? And this is depicted in 7D.
It would have came
Left to right or right to left of that photo?
That's if it's facing you, it would have been to it would have been from my left and then maybe your right.
Would it go from the black Chevy to the blue Mercedes?
Yes,
Okay.
it would have been facing in that direction.
Do you remember anything about that car?
I just noticed that it was a tan looking, like, I know it was a light color car. It was either brown or tan or white.
Had you ever seen that car before?
No.
And after you saw that car, how many people did you see get out?
One person got out.
And did you see anything in their hands?
I saw he had his hand out, so I assumed that he had a gun because she was so nervous and she just started crying.
Who was the objector?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can wait.
All right, thank you. I'll stand in.
Ms. Dixon, when
Strike that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, disregard the last statement in regards to, I thought, okay?
ma'am, when the suspect approached Ms. Hill and told her to give him her things, what was her physical reaction that you personally observed?
she was so nervous and frightened to the fact that when she came, she just walked close. And by that time, they had got her car. That person had got the car, and the other car went behind that car. And she walked up to me, and she was shaking so bad. She was just really upset and frightened.
And what was your reaction on seeing this?
I was completely shocked because I was standing there as well. And I don't know why her car and my car was not that far from each other.
Had anything like that happened since you lived at 245 Mall Drive?
No, sir.
I stand objection. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard the witness's last answer.
And did this individual who came out of the car, did he have on a full face cover?
No.
Did he have on a mask?
I didn't see it.
Did he do anything to conceal his identity?
No.
And where was Miss Hill's daughter when this happened?
She was near the handicap sign, the pole where the sign is. The handicap, she was right there because her door was right there in front of that.
And you said the two vehicles left. Was one of those vehicles, was it or was it not Miss Hill's car?
One of them was her car, so they took her car.
And did she,
I would assume they were busy pulling people over because they, from inside their cop car, smelled marijuana in a passing other car. So they were busy doing that instead of responding to actual crimes.
was 911 or police ever notified?
Yes,
And whose phone was used to call 911?
my phone.
And was it yourself or Miss Hill who called 911?
I called because she was so upset.
And how quickly did it take them to respond?
Honestly, it wasn't long, but it was not. It could have been about maybe 20 or 30 minutes.
Were you
A robbery, 30 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes to respond.
able to see anyone else or have any idea of who else that you saw in terms of numbers of people in that car?
It could have been a total of 4. It was a lot of people in that car. It was not just one individual.
And when I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 8V. Is your condo depicted in State's Exhibit 8V?
And some random,
And where would Miss Hill's apartment have been? Condo.
It would have been on the front sidewalk and by the patio.
Is that in front of parking spot 7 or 8?
In part 7.
And when the cars took off, what is on the other side of this curve, Ms. Dixon? Is that on State's Exhibit 9V?
That's a driveway going out of the condominium property.
And I'm going to show you, ma'am, and I think it's actually already up there. Do you have State's Exhibit 11, Victor?
Yes.
What is that, ma'am?
It looks like a map of the area.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the map where you, Ms. Hill, resided?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, State moves to tender State's Exhibit 11, Victor.
Any objection to State's 11 Victor?
No.
All right, State's 11 Victor is admitted and may be charged as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Publishing State's Exhibit 11, Victor. Now, in relation to that red pinpoint in 11 Victor, ma'am, do you see the entrances for where you all reside?
Yes.
Can you kind of indicate where those are?
What entrance, where the red mark is, that's one entrance to the left of there, and then the other entrance, like it goes around the curve, a U, and then you can go out near those trees, set of trees as well. So it's 2 ways in, 2 ways out.
And Ms. Dixon, I'm going to try, there's a pointer I have up here on this easel, Your Honor, may I approach? Thank you, Your Honor. If you can, Ms. Dixon, could you use this pointer to indicate the 2 entrances to 245 Mall Drive?
This is entrance here, and there's an entrance there, coming off of Prior. So you can easily turn here. This is normally how we would come in, and then there's a light there, and then you can come in that way, but it's a whole circle to go back out.
In which entrance did the suspect vehicle enter?
This way. And then go around, and then this is where we are. They went out that way, And I'm assuming they went that way.
And which of those buildings was where you reside, ma'am?
My building would have been here,
And where was Ms. Hills?
here.
Thank you, ma'am. And after, were you able to make out any description of the suspect that came out of the vehicle, old, young?
That person was a young person. I don't know. I can't say they were older, but I know they had to be maybe even older than 17, but younger than 25, I guess.
And
Yes, this is the neighbor who worked for what was it? The Golden Stallion. She was a mama at that strip joint. So they are rehashing something they brought up over a month ago. This is one of the first testimonies in this. Yeah. So they are rehashing it. Oh, thank you, X-Comer, for your Norwegian 20 kroner. Criminal enterprise unless you wear white shirt and tie. Yeah, and that would be a reference to District Attorney Fannie Willis and her alleged boyfriend embezzling money from the state. Yeah, so thank you, Gigi, for reminding that we already know about this crime because the actual victim has already testified to it in the beginning of this trial. So this is a witness to this, which I don't know what this is, just prolonging the trial, and I'm not surprised.
what was there in the rags?
Were they black or white?
Yes, ma'am.
That was a black person.
And when the police got there, did you stay with Ms. Hill?
Yes.
And did you stay with her for, how long were you with her after this all happened that day?
That day, about 45 minutes.
And when, after this incident, did Ms. Hill remain your neighbor at 245 Mall Drive?
No.
What happened?
She moved very quickly.
How quickly?
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks after that, she did not stay.
I have no idea. They were talking about time restraints and stuff like that, but I don't know. I wish I knew. Might be a tactic, because I would imagine that the jury also forgot about this, so they might think it's one more crime, not the same one, to make it seem more than it actually is.
When the suspect that got out of that tan vehicle approached Ms. Hill, did you see him get out of the vehicle?
I did.
What side of the car did he get out of?
I got out the back side on the drive, behind the driver.
And how close was Ms. Hill to that vehicle when he got out of it?
She had just got out of her car and she pulled in so that she had just stepped up on the sidewalk.
Using State's Exhibit 7 Victor as a reference point,
not to be rude, but we already know this. So let's move on to cross-examination. Oh, it's more or less there.
no further questions. All right, cross.
What's your name? H-E-L. Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Good morning. Actually, good afternoon at this point. How are you doing, man?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I am doing good. You and I have never met before, is that right?
That's right.
All right. My name is Keith Adams.
Mhm.
I represent Mr. Williams. Do you know who Jeffrey Williams is?
I do.
Okay. You see him in this courtroom.
Oh, thank you. The pink pony, the lady at the pink pony was robbed after work. Yes, I remember this. Her testimony was she didn't see anything in the parking lot or anybody following her, but as soon as she got home, she was robbed. That was her testimony. And I don't think they ever caught. I'm not sure. I don't remember that far back.
Right?
Yes,
All right. You know him as an entertainer?
yes.
All right. It is fair to say, it is true that prior to coming in here today or back in 2016, you have no information, no reason to, you've not been told, you don't have any reason to believe that Jeffrey Williams has anything whatsoever to do with that, what you observed back in 2016. Isn't that true?
Objection, Your Honor. This is speculation. Same.
All right. Do you have any factual, personal knowledge that Jeffrey Williams had anything to do with that incident we're talking about from 8 years ago back in 2016?
No.
All right. So let's start there. You were unfortunately a witness to a carjacking back in May of 2016 that you just talked about, true?
Yes.
You lived at that location.
Mm-hmm.
You, if I heard you correctly, you had gone about essentially your regular day's business. You done some running around, you dropped off your child, you picked up your child, and you came back home, true?
Sure.
All right. Taravia Hill is your neighbor. That's the woman who, unfortunately, was the victim of that robbery, right?
Yes.
And you come back, you don't expect, and you're certainly not anticipating that you're going to see anything like what you saw on that day.
Correct.
You pulled up, and I know you described a little while ago where you were parked and where Ms. Hill's car pulled up, right?
Yes.
And another car pulls up, blocking her car in.
Yes.
That car has multiple individuals in it, as you described, right?
Correct.
I think the words that you used were they were kind of crowded up, or it looked like more people than should have been in that car.
Yes.
Okay. Someone gets out of the back of that vehicle, the back driver's side of the vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the person that you saw go up to Ms. Hill's vehicle.
Correct.
You'd never seen that person before.
Never seen that person.
Looks like a young person.
Yeah.
All right. African-American young man.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't see a gun or anything like that in the person's hand.
There was something there because it frightened her so bad that she literally just was shaking.
Okay. Could have been, but you didn't see a gun in that person's hand. All right.
It's been so long, but I can't say I didn't. I can't say there was one there.
Okay. All right. And in fact, I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. You actually gave a statement to the police on that day, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Now, you're watching this unfold, and you see Ms. Hill get out of the car, and this guy go up to her and demand her keys in her car, right?
Correct.
All right. There are a bunch of guys in the other car, the car that pulled up, but none of them got out.
No, only one person got out.
And let me back up and correct myself. I said a bunch of guys, a bunch of people. Right?
Yes.
All right. And you were not able to see with any certainty, specificity. You can identify the description.
This person's neighbor is Miss Hill. The lady at the pink pony's name was Melissa Dees Rosser. Okay, so there it is two different. Okay, thank you. I like my chat because they correct us. But here's the thing: this is one of the tactics from the prosecution, is to have everything molded together. And if I'm confused, imagine the jury.
Of the people in that car.
No.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb, and you tell me if I'm right, that you're a pretty observant person.
I am.
Okay. You're attentive to detail, I would guess. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. And so you see this young guy get out, take Miss Hill's car, and he drives off in the car.
He had to wait till the other car he got out pulled off first, but he did drive.
And then he followed the car out.
Yes.
Obviously, and understandably, Miss Hill and her child appear to be pretty shaken up from what had just happened, right?
Correct.
If you had to describe the guy that you saw take her car, would you describe him as kind of a heavyset person?
No, that person was not a heavyset person.
Okay, were they tall, short?
Medium, maybe about 5'9".
Okay.
Wasn't too short.
Okay, so 5'9"-ish, brown complexion, light complexion. What would, if you had to?
That was a brown complexion.
Okay, all right. You've never seen that person before, right? You never saw that person anytime after that.
No.
Okay. You spoke to the police on that day.
Correct.
And You gave them a statement telling them exactly what you saw.
Yes.
What you told them, I would guess, and again, as always, you correct me if I'm wrong, is exactly what you just told this jury today, what you saw, right?
Correct.
Okay. There was no point. Oh, before I get there, you didn't see either the person getting out of the car or anyone in the car. You didn't hear them say anything specific other than the guy who said, "Give me your keys, give me your car."
Correct.
Okay.
No one else said anything.
There wasn't any yelling back and forward from the guy who was doing what he was doing to the guys in the car.
No.
Okay. You didn't see anyone making any gestures or throwing up any signs or anything like that.
No.
Okay. What you were observing, and I hate to say it, it was kind of ordinary is not the right word, but it was a carjacking. You saw someone being carjacked, right?
That's what I saw.
That's the crime that you were observing at that point.
At that point.
Right. A singular individual,
Correct.
and other people in the other car, taking that woman's car.
Correct.
No indication as to what it was about other than a car theft, right?
That's all I thought that day.
Okay. Now, moving forward after you speak to the police,
Correct.
were you ever contacted at any time after that? Now, we're talking, this is 2016, May of 2016, right?
Correct.
Were you ever contacted any time after that by the police to show you a lineup or to come make an identification or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
So it's a carjacking, and she was never, until this trial, called to talk about it. No wonder the Atlanta or the Fulton County has a docket that is, yeah. But again, they were busy pulling people over because they smelled marijuana from a car distance away. So why investigate an actual crime?
Were you ever contacted by the police at any time after that to give any further statements or any addendums or additions to your statement? Anything like that ever happened?
No.
Did you ever have to come to court? Besides today, were you ever called upon to come to court for any sort of testimony or anything like that?
This is the first. That was the first.
Okay. So if we're in 2016, right, for the incident, and today we're in 2024, is it fair to say that the first time you hear anything about this incident after 2016 is what, maybe a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to presume, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you get a call from the DA's office in regards to what you saw back in 2016.
Correct.
Okay. You don't know anyone in this courtroom, do you?
No, not personally.
Okay. You don't have any personal knowledge, you yourself, personal knowledge that anybody sitting in any one of these seats, anywhere in this courtroom, had anything whatsoever to do with what happened in May of 2016, do you?
No.
All right.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
All right. Ms. Dixon?
So there is actually, so far, as what we heard, there is no relation between that crime and this trial. Except it happened near where the area.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Reader? No, Your Honor. Anybody else?
And no redirect. Yeah, my conclusion of this testimony is she witnessed a carjacking, and I don't know how this was allowed in. So there never been a charge, never been a trial about that carjacking. So why is it in this trial? How the flaming fuck does this be? How can this be allowed in at all? There is zero evidence that carjacking had anything to do with this trial. Zero. Absolute zero. How was this allowed?
Okay, may Ms. Dixon be permanently or temporarily excused?
She may be finally excused, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Dixon, thank you for your patience with us. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
And I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness, so don't discuss your testimony to anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
seriously, what the actual F is going on? Nothing, she said, nothing the prosecution alleged says, what? What are you doing? That would be Mr. Jingles attacking my heater. Oh, here, Mr. Jingles. But seriously, there's zero evidence in her testimony whatsoever that that carjacking had anything to do with this trial. This is so stupid.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I get you to be back in your headquarters for 1:30, please? Okay, and we may have to take up some other additional matters, but if you could just be present for 1:30, and then we'll call for you. Okay?
Yeah, and what happened next is a ton of time before they actually came back. A ton of time. And yeah, this is pissing me off severely. I mean, seriously, what did anything she said had nothing to do with this trial. Nothing. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Well, folks, I have an early morning tomorrow. So, and tomorrow I just found out that my sisters is coming to visit. And we're some kind of get together. So no stream tomorrow. But what are you doing up there? So no stream tomorrow. I will come back on Thursday and I will start at 10 a.m. so we can get through the rest of this day, a recap of tomorrow, and then start on Thursdays. So, but if this is what the prosecution has, I might start doing recaps, not... this is so stupid. This is so... It's infuriating because we know that through Miss District Attorney Willis, her conduct, Fulton County has people in jail, unindicted, who has been there for a couple of years now. There are people waiting trial, and she chooses the taxpayers' money with this pile of pure shit. It's pure shit. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. Well, I said I'm going to cover this trial from gavel to gavel. I'm starting to regret it, but I will be doing it. But not every day. Some days I will live stream. Some it will be recaps. It all depends on what actually is going on in the trial, because this is so stupid. This is so severely stupid. Yeah, it seems like the strategy is all unsolved crimes in that area and try to pin it on these guys. This is so stupid. But we have to cover stupid sometimes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for Super Chat. Thank you for standing for... Yeah, thank you. I will be redirecting you to Broken Baker and his trial. And trying to get some sleep because it's 8:30 here. My alarm bell goes off at 4:30 a.m. So will be trying to get some rest. I will see you all back here on Thursday. Bring friends, and everything. Thank you. And bye-bye.